Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Thursday, so it's story day. One of my favorites from Ramakrishna, showing you the difficulty of thinking you can live an ascetic life and how easy it is to get caught up in worldliness. It's called All for a Single Piece of Loincloth. So this disciple follows his guru's instructions to build himself a small shed, a little thatched hut where he can do his spiritual practices away from the haunts of humanity. And so every morning he'd do his bathing and he'd get up and he'd hang his loincloth, the only thing that he had, up on a tree limb to dry. And he would go off into town begging. But when he came back, one day he saw that rats had started eating his loincloth. So he was kind of freaked out. He said, maybe this is just a one-time occurrence. But he got a new loincloth from begging, and this happened again. And so he went to the villagers and said, listen, these rats are eating my loincloth. They said, listen, you can't keep begging from us loincloths every single day. If the rats are eating your loincloth, get a cat, and the cat will keep the rats away. So he thought it was a good idea. He got the cat, and it's true, the cat kept the rats away, but the cat is hungry all day long. Meow, meow, meow. It was freaking him out. So he went to the villagers. He says, listen, it's thanks for the cat, but now the cat is, he needs milk or something like that. He said, well, listen, you can't go begging for milk every single day. Just get yourself a cow. The cow will have the milk for the cat, and the cat will keep the rats away, and you can also enjoy some of the milk too. He said, all right, that's a good idea. So he found himself a way to get a cow. Cow gave him the milk fed the cat kept the rats away, everything was fine. But then, it takes a lot of straw for the cow to continue to eat in order to produce the milk. So he went to the village. He said, what should I do now? I have to feed the cow. He says, well, listen, just get a piece of land, cultivate the land, and then that'll have the straw for the cow. The cow will give the milk will take care of the cat will keep the rats away. He thought it was fantastic. So he hired him, so he couldn't work the land himself, so he hired himself a couple of laborers. They started working the land, and after a while, he was working all day long. So listen, I'll just get a wife, I'll marry the wife, she can keep everything together. She can be the manager of the laborers. They'll watch the land will make the straw will feed the cow will feed the cat will keep the rats away. And he got so involved in this that one day when his guru came back to visit him, he said, my son, what is all of this? He says, all for one little loincloth. Yeah, so you try to do on the spiritual path, but very soon you get caught up in what they call Maya, the world of illusion, the world of apparitional phenomenon. All right, nonetheless, I hope you find a better way of keeping your spiritual practice going without selling out. All right, next to last disappointing affirmation for everybody out there. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Prove to them that you really can't do it. That's it. All right, for my journaling friends, we all have different kinds of magic. Some people have magic in the body. Some people have magic in the mind. Some people have magic in their heart. Let me know, where's your magic? Body, mind, heart, soul, interactions with other people, playing a musical instrument. Let me know, and I'll tell you where my magic is. Okay, now let's move on. My teacher, B.K.S. Iyengar, says that knowledge of the self doesn't mean you're negligent or careless about taking care of your body or your mental state. More to the point, when you practice, you learn to observe in order to improve the quality of your presentation. And of course, once you understand that on the mat, then you're scrupulous about looking for things that could be improved in your life off of the mat as well. Now, we live in a time where longevity is much more an established fact than it used to be. The image is if you had a crabapple tree, it doesn't stay around, doesn't grow long enough to turn into mature, ripe, tasty, delicious apples. So you feel like, you got the short end of the stick there. But the truth is that we live much longer, and as a result, we don't have to settle for crab apples in the unripe state. We can develop our intuition. We can develop our individuality. We can develop our potential through our whole life. And that way, spiritually speaking, we can develop apples that are tasty and juicy. So take inventory of yourself. If you want this to happen, you want to not give your power away. Or I should phrase it this way, where and to whom do you give your power away? How do you know if you're giving your power away? If you have low self-esteem, that's a giveaway right away. That means one part of you is operating under an uncritical myth that you're not worthy. And that's just not true. So even if you have to do this path alone, it doesn't matter if you're divorced, if you're single, if you're straight, if you're gay, if you're young, if you're old, if you're introvert, if you're extrovert. Stress may cause you to falter along the way, but take heart. Doesn't mean you're any less of a person, any less capable than you were before. Even if you don't think you're as strong as you were before, you're strong in a different way. It just means you're human. So do what you need to do. Don't be proud. Ask for help. That's the best way to continue to have community and not isolate yourself. Now, my Buddhist friends want to remind us, first of all, you got to focus your mind, make your mind confidence. A certain kind of internal confidence comes from singleness of mind. That's called ekagrata, one-pointedness in yoga. It strengthens your motivation to work towards whatever it is that you think is the next level of your unfolding. And many times, just the power of concentration is accompanied by a very pleasant feeling of well-being and ease. But of course, meditation doesn't only make you feel good, but it does make you aware of what you are feeling. But if you keep on going, you will have a breakthrough into these more ecstatic states, you can say. And then you leave behind certain desires that you had when you were younger, just like you left childhood games behind when you got to adulthood. Certain things don't have their pull on you anymore in terms of the desire system. And then you have to see through the paradox of enlightenment. As long as you think that enlightenment is different from what you already are, from what we already are, which is consciousness embodied. If you think enlightenment is a place that we're traveling to, someplace, sometime in the future, then we're always testing ourselves to see if we're there or not. And that's actually a neurotic tendency. So, as they say in Vipassana, sit and like a laxative, vomit up all the things you're carrying with you. Regurgitate, see it, destroy it, get rid of it, and be better for that. So, my friends, from your affirmation masters, fill yourself with positive expectation, not negative anticipation, and release whatever it is you're thinking about to your deeper mind, which has the know-how of accomplishment. And then may you all satisfy things that make you in love with life, instead of correcting or inhibiting yourself or other people. Just gravitate to those things which make you in love with life and see how that'll change your day-to-day existence. Have a great day.